pleased to introduce and present Sunna Edberg, who is a senior zookeeper at Kolmarden Wildlife Park. And Sunna and I have been friends and colleagues for more than 2 decades, I think. But we started when we were very, very young. So, but I am pleased. I've worked with Sunna and learned a lot from her. And so with that, I would like to introduce Sunna and pass it on to you, if you'd like, Sunna.
Thank you, Kel and Kathleen.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to join this Dolphin lesson, and Kathleen, she will take care of my slides, so I will ask for the next slide. And you can take the next. So I grew up on a farm with lots of different animals, so choosing a job with animals was very natural for me. I went to zookeeper school here in Sweden, and I've been working with zoo animals ever since, and that sums up to 37 years now. Next. I worked with all kinds of animals, but mainly with the marine mammals and with the carnivores. Next. The zoo I work in is called Kolmarden, and it's the largest zoo in Sweden and located high up on the cliffs facing a beautiful Baltic fjord. And we house animals from all over the world, big and small. Next. So what is it like to be a zookeeper? Next. If you love animals, it is really fun. You're surrounded with great colleagues with the same interest as you, and you get to do fun and unusual things. Here you can see my colleague Sara, who's dressed up as a tiger, meeting our real tigers. Next. It can be really hard, heavy, and dirty, but heavy and dirty can also be fun. Next. Getting to know the animals, to make a connection and to earn their trust, that is the best feeling. Next. But sometimes it is also very sad. If you lose an animal, they too get sick or old. Next. I have been doing this for a very long time, and I am not nearly finished learning. But here's some of the things I think you need to know to be a zookeeper. Next. First, you have to learn about the species you will work with. Next. Do they live alone or together in a group? Next. Here you see a lynx. They only spend time together during the breeding season, or if a female have cubs. Otherwise, they live alone. They are solitary. The lions, on the other hand, are pack animals and live in groups. Normally 1 to 3 males with about 5 females and their cubs. But in a zoo, you can often have solitary animals together without any problems. Next. What do they eat? Are they carnivores? That's animals that only eat meat. Are they herbivores? That means that they only eat plants such as grass, tree bark, and leaves. Or are they omnivores? They eat both meat and plants. Next. A lion is a carnivore. They eat big meals, but not that often, usually just once a week. And the lion can eat 20% of its own body weight in just one meal. And you can see here on the picture that our male Casanova has a really big belly after a big meal. Other animals, they have to eat almost all the time to get all the food that they need. and some gain weight very fast. This is a gray seal pup. The top picture is from the day it was born, and the bottom picture is 2 weeks later. Quite a difference. The milk that they drink has a fat content of over 50%. Next. A lion and a capybara, that's a big rodent from South America, they can share a meal with its pack, but a grown lynx wants to eat alone. Next. You can find tigers in almost all climates. I work with armor tigers. They are very adapted for cold weather. Big feet, works like snowshoes. Big bodies, keep them warm better. Thick fur, also keeps them warm better. And smaller ears, less risk of freezing them. Next. The Scandinavian brown bear hibernates during the winter. This means that they go to sleep and don't even eat for several months. To cope with the cold, some animals have thick blubber, and if you can see, there is a gray seal in the middle of that in all that ice. Or they develop a winter coat like this beautiful lynx. Next. We can have cold winters in Sweden with a lot of snow. And even if lions are African animals, they like to spend time outside even in the winter. But they always have the opportunity to go inside and warm up. Next. How do they move? Can they swim, run, or fly? Next. Ear seals have a very flexible spine and can bend over backwards with ease. They can walk fast on land, and when they move under the water, it looks like they're flying with their big front flippers like wings. True seals, like this gray seal, are also excellent swimmers, but use their hind flippers to propel themselves forward. On land, they're a bit clumsy and move rather like that of a caterpillar. Pinnipeds can spend hours on land in the sun without getting too hot, and thanks to blubber and fur, spend time in the water without getting too cold. Dolphins need to be in the water to cool their body. A thick layer of blubber makes them too hot if they beach themselves too long. Next. I don't know how many times I have run to the seal pool to check on the animals after that a guest told us that they had seen a dead seal on the bottom of the pool. Hearing this makes your heart stop, but the thing is that the true seals are so great at holding their breath that if they are sleepy, they slowly sink to the bottom for a little nap. This may look very scary, but it's natural. But of course, you always check your animals anyway. Fur seals, they have a double-layered fur that requires a lot of attention. They roll around in the water and rub their flippers against their body and scratch their fur with their claws to clean it and put it in order. But if you don't know this, you might think that they have a skin condition and you call for the vet. Some animals are dangerous, so you work in protected contact, but are still able to have a great relationship with them. And some animals are more cuddly, like this little red panda. Next. You also need to know as much as possible about every individual. Next. You might be working with several animals of the same species. Then you have to be able to tell them apart. You can use size, gender, colors, and markings to see the difference. Next. But you can also tell them apart because they behave differently. Some animals are very relaxed, and some intensively curious, and others very active. It is impossible to get a focused picture on our female wolverine because she's always moving. Males, on the other hand, are very laid back, as you can see. Next. Spending time with the animals lets you get to know them and build a relationship. The middle picture is on a harbor seal that gives Katarina the trust to sit next to her with her new baby. Next. There's a lot of chores for a keeper. You plan and prepare the food, you clean enclosures, windows, staff areas, you check fences, cut grass so it's not too high, and you keep all areas tidy. And sometimes you even have to be a handyman and fix things that are broken. Next. In your job as a keeper, you will also meet, work with, and take care of a lot of people. Guests, craftsmen, veterinarians, researchers, teachers, and students. The zookeeper is the link between all these people and the animals. There are many situations where we need to be able to ask our animals for different behaviors, either for making your job as a keeper easier, but also to be able to help all these people I just spoke about. Therefore, we train our animals. Next. Training is learning. We are looking for good behaviors. A relaxed animal that is interested in us. Good behaviors are rewarded. Next. Maybe you get some money for mowing a lawn. This will make it more likely that you will do that again if someone asks you. If a dog gets a treat for walking calmly and not pulling the leash, it is more likely that it will continue walking without pulling. Next. For the animals, a reward can be anything that they like. It can be something to eat, affection, or a toy. Milk for a tiger, carrot for a bear, dog food for a wolverine, and fish and cuddle for a dolphin.
Mammas älskling! Hur duktig är du då? Det är ju helt otroligt! Ja? Va? Gumman! Världens bästa! Världens absolut bästa!
Can take next. The animals have large enclosures, so be able to ask them to come to you is a great behavior. They get some exercise, you will see them move, and you can ask them to go from one enclosure to another. You can play the video. You can take next. Probably you all have had fire drills at school. Oh, sorry, wasn't the there. Probably you all have had fire drills at school. When you hear a certain signal, you immediately go outside and meet up at your assembly point. We do the same with our tigers. When they hear the signal, we taught them to quickly run to their assembly point, which is inside. A zoo is a great place to come and learn more about animals. We do spontaneous meetings, scheduled presentations, shows, and guided tours. To be able to share my knowledge and love for the animals with the guests is one of the highlights of my job. Next. Animals are constantly challenged in the wild. They have to hunt for food and protect themselves and others from enemies. A zoo animal has a much more sheltered life, but still need to be challenged. And a great way to do that is to train. And we can start the video. This is a voluntary blood draw on a dolphin. Either the vet comes and takes the blood sample, or we are trained to do it ourselves. Take the next. There are many ways that the animals can help with their own health checks. We can start the video. Siri has asked Casanova to step up on a scale. We'll soon see how much he weighs. He weighs 205 kilos. That is 450 pounds. Next. The scale can be built in, but it can also be a scale we put in just for the weighing. Next. It is important to be able to check their mouth. To the left, you see Marie train one of our male tigers, Cyan, and you adapt the training to if you work in protected contact or free contact, but you can still train the same behaviors. Next. Zoo animals are great ambassadors and can help researchers answer many questions. The top picture is a hearing test with a dolphin, and the bottom picture is a scent test with a fur seal. It is very interesting and rewarding to be part of different research projects. Next. Training is one part of something called enrichment. Enrichment gives the animal choices. They can practice their talents, and we can stimulate. We can pause a little while if it's possible. This first scene is a lynx with a collar, and he participated in a research project where he had this collar for a few months to collect data for French researchers. Thank you. Go ahead and play the movie. Here she's playing with a wool ball. You can take the next slide. You can change their environment. To mimic a dense forest above or underwater, we use a felt that we get for free from a local factory. And old fire hoses can be transformed into hammocks. Next. We all want to see and experience new things. Here you see the lions got to see their own reflection in a mirror. The seals got to meet a reindeer. And the tigers are looking at a cut-out picture of a wolf. And the lynx is curious about a plastic lizard. Next. It is fun to manipulate objects. A dolphin is carrying a plastic strip just like it was a piece of kelp. The bush duck got a snowman to demolish. The lions got a big cardboard box to tear apart. And the dolphins are enjoying catching soap bubbles. And the bears are crazy about wood shavings and just had a bath in it. As an ending, I can't resist showing you some more cute baby animals. So next. Top 3 pictures are Baltic gray seals. Then you see a Humboldt penguin chick and some dolphin calves. Next, you see bear cubs, wolverine cubs, and lion cubs. Next, and as a conclusion, it is not easy to be a father, not even for a lion. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunna. I have to get my video if I can get that back on. Thank you. That was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Very cool. And we sometime later today or tomorrow, we will have this presentation, Sunna's presentation of what it's like to be a zookeeper, on our DCP website under our webinar page under the education tab, as well as on our YouTube channel, the Dolphin Communication Project. And you can find all of the details on that page for all of our webinars. So we'll get 2 more slides, Sunna, and then we'll do questions. So Cal, can I leave the next 2 to you?
Sure thing. So just a reminder that we have lots of web-based educational content. Of course, this was a dolphin lesson, and we have our next dolphin lesson on December 1st. Topic to be determined. We're still working that out, but it will be on December 1st at 1 o'clock Eastern. And once we have that Zoom link, it'll be on our social media and on that webinar page that Kathleen just showed. And then we'll have one final deep dive for 2020, and that will look at contaminants and marine mammals. And then you can tune into the Dolphin Pod anytime you want, wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, we would be remiss as a nonprofit if we did not remind folks how they can support us. We are, of course, thrilled to offer these webinars for free, but we do need our supporters to help us keep going. So you can do that by adopting a dolphin, becoming a member, getting a t-shirt. When it's safe, come join us in the field. There are all sorts of ways to show your support for DCP. And of course, you can make use of all of our information on our website, dolphincommunicationproject.org, and you can stay in touch with us by email and social media. So thank you everyone for listening in, whether it was live or recorded, and a big thank you to Sunna for all of that wonderful information and beautiful pictures and fun stories. And now I'm excited for some questions. Kathleen, did you want to ask a few?
Well, I was curious, Sunna, do you have a favorite animal that you've worked with, either species or individual?
Oh, you always get closer to some animals because you maybe train them a little bit more. We have a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of animals, but we are also many zookeepers, so we divide them between us. So right now I'm especially fond of the lynx and the wolverines, but that could change because you maybe work more closely with another species. But for my all-time favorite, I think was one dolphin that was called Sisu, and then a South African fur seal male called Fridolf.
Very nice.
Very cool.
Sunna, did you have to do special schooling, get a specific degree to be a zookeeper, or did you learn on the job?
In Sweden, we have a zookeeper school. So I went to that. In the old days, it was 2 years. Now it's 3 years. And we still have that program, and they have their practice at the zoo. So that's a good way to start. But you learn a lot at the work when you have a work. So I would say it's a good start to go to zookeeper school, but the main knowledge you will get working with the animals.
Lovely, thank you.
Very cool.
I have another question, if that's all right. You showed I think it was a lynx with the collar during the enrichment video. What do you know what that research was that the French researchers were looking into? What did that collar measure?
Yeah, she did enrichment project with her master thesis, and that was about how they react to different scents. But the collar was to log where he was in the enclosure.
Hmm.
So specific points where he was, so they could see. Another animal individual also had a collar. Were
there different scents in the enclosure too, or just tracking?
And sounds. They tried. I don't know the English word for it, but maybe it's almost the same. Valeriana. Lynxes are supposed to really, really love that scent. And then she did she hid a speaker in the grass, and then she played mouse sounds.
Oh, very cool.
And I really like that. And then she played other lynx animals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice.
Does your facility do a lot of collaboration with researchers? Is that a common thing?
A lot of master programs and a lot of master students doing their projects. And that's how I met Kathleen.
Yeah. Yep. And I got to meet Sisu and Fridolf too. So it was very cool. Yes.
So you know firsthand how lovely they are.
Yes. Yes. That I think Sisu used to tease me, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So very cool. Yeah.
Excellent.
Do you just, I know, well, Sweden is further north than we are in Florida or the Bahamas. But do you find that your tasks change seasonally based on the light of the day? Do you end up doing some stuff with the animals in the dark when it's winter time?
It's a challenge with the dark because you have to, I mean, to be able to see the animals and to be able to see all the fences and check the fences, you have to have daylight.
Yeah.
And that could be really scarce right now. And one thing that is particularly strange as a new keeper is to take care of bears, because the Scandinavian bear goes to sleep. And the bears are the ones that take most of our time during the summer and spring and fall because they eat a lot.
Yeah.
They are omnivores. But then suddenly they stop eating and then go to bed, and you don't almost not take care of them. You just check them on the web cameras, and that's a strange feeling to like, okay, shouldn't we? Hi, no, bye. That's a really strange feeling.
Yes.
That must be odd to have your day shift so drastically.
But that's the beauty of it too, to have 4 seasons and there's very different things going on. I mean, when they get their winter coat, they look quite different sometimes from the summer coat. And then when they lose their winter coat, they might sometimes really look sick because they look a little bit scrappy. You have to know that too, so you don't get worried.
Yeah.
And were all of the species that you showed images of, are those all species that are represented at the zoo?
Oh, much more. I didn't show nearly anything, just a little bit of what we have. I think we have around 75 species and maybe 750 individuals.
That's pretty
So it's a
amazing.
large zoo.
That's pretty amazing.
Someday I will come visit.
Yes, you're more than welcome.
You might want to go when it's warmer.
Warmer,
Cal.
yes, maybe not the winter.
I've been there in the winter and it's not bad, but it's chilly. It's chilly.
I don't want to miss the bears, so I'll go in the summer.
Yes, very cool. Were there any more questions, Cal? I didn't monitor the chat at all.
That's okay. I think that covered quite a bit of it. Thank you so much, Sunna.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was awesome. I hope you have a great evening. Thank you for joining us on your evening.
Especially so late in your day. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.